In a remote village, nestled between dark forests and misty lakes, there was a legend about a mysterious eye, rumored to be both terrifying and mesmerizingly beautiful. No one knew where it came from or why it appeared, but those who glimpsed it claimed it had the power to see into your soul, revealing your deepest fears and desires. One chilly evening, two friends, Clara and James, decided to explore the ancient ruins at the edge of the village, curious about the stories they'd heard from their grandparents. As they wandered through the crumbling stone walls, the wind howled around them, carrying whispers of the past and stirring their imaginations. Clara, ever the brave one, led the way deeper into the ruins, her heart racing with excitement as she imagined what they might discover. James, who was more cautious, followed close behind, his eyes darting around nervously as the shadows seemed to move on their own. Suddenly, as they turned a corner, they found themselves in front of an old, ornate mirror, covered in dust and cobwebs, its surface dull and lifeless. Clara wiped the dust away, revealing the intricate carvings around the mirror's frame, which depicted eyes of various shapes and sizes, all staring intently at whoever looked into the glass. Curious, Clara leaned in closer to the mirror, her breath fogging up the glass as she tried to see her reflection. But instead of her face, a single, large eye appeared in the mirror, its iris a swirling mix of colors that seemed to shift and change with each passing second. James gasped in shock, his heart pounding in his chest as the eye blinked and focused on them, its gaze piercing and unsettling. "Did you see that?" he whispered, his voice trembling. But Clara, ever the skeptic, just laughed it off, convinced it was a trick of the light. "Come on, it's just an old mirror," she said, trying to sound confident, but even she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. As they turned to leave, the eye in the mirror suddenly winked at them, causing Clara to yelp in surprise and James to burst into nervous laughter. They quickly made their way out of the ruins, the eerie feeling of being watched lingering in the back of their minds as they walked home. That night, Clara couldn't stop thinking about the eye, its hypnotic colors, and the way it seemed to see right through her, as if it knew all her secrets. The next day, they returned to the ruins, unable to resist the pull of the mysterious mirror and the strange eye that had appeared within it. As they approached the mirror, the eye was already there, waiting for them, its gaze more intense and captivating than before. This time, Clara felt a strange urge to reach out and touch the mirror, her fingers tingling as they hovered over the glass. But just as she was about to make contact, the eye blinked, and the entire mirror began to shimmer and warp, distorting their reflections until they no longer recognized themselves. Suddenly, the eye spoke, its voice soft and melodic, yet filled with an ancient wisdom that sent shivers down their spines. "You have seen me, and now I see you," it said, its words echoing in their minds. "But be warned, for beauty can be deceiving, and what you seek may not be what you find." Clara and James exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what the eye meant, but before they could ask, the mirror returned to its normal state, the eye disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. They stood there in silence, the weight of the eye's words heavy on their hearts as they tried to make sense of what had just happened. Over the next few days, strange things began to happen in the village, as people reported seeing the same beautiful, horrifying eye in their dreams or catching glimpses of it in reflections. Some claimed that the eye revealed hidden truths, while others were driven mad by the visions it showed them, unable to escape its gaze. Clara and James, however, found themselves drawn back to the mirror, compelled to uncover the secrets behind the eye and its mysterious power. Each time they visited the ruins, the eye would appear, its gaze growing more intense and its voice more insistent, urging them to look deeper into their own hearts and confront the fears they had long buried. As they delved into their own minds, the eye began to reveal the true nature of their friendship, exposing the hidden insecurities and unspoken feelings that had been festering beneath the surface. They laughed and cried together, as the eye forced them to confront their innermost thoughts and fears, bringing them closer than ever before. One day, as they stood before the mirror, the eye began to show them visions of the future, glimpses of what their lives could become if they continued down their current paths. The images were both beautiful and terrifying, filled with moments of joy and sorrow, success and failure, all intertwined in a complex web of choices and consequences. Clara and James watched in awe as the eye showed them the endless possibilities that lay before them, its swirling colors reflecting the ever-changing nature of their lives. But as the visions faded, the eye's voice returned, this time filled with a sense of urgency. Remember, beauty is fleeting, and what you see may not be what it seems, the eye warned, its gaze locking onto theirs. But if you stay true to yourselves, you will find the path that leads to true happiness. With those final words, the eye disappeared, leaving Clara and James alone in the ruins, the mirror now just an ordinary piece of glass once more. They stood in silence, processing everything they had seen and heard, their minds racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. As they made their way back to the village, they couldn't help but feel a sense of peace, knowing that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. The eye had shown them that life was full of beauty and horror, laughter and tears, but it was up to them to choose how they would navigate it. In the end, the eye was not a curse, but a gift, a reminder that life is a journey filled with unexpected twists and turns, and that true beauty lies not in what we see, but in how we choose to see it. And as Clara and James walked into the sunset, hand in hand, they knew that their bond was stronger than ever, forged in the fires of fear and tempered by the light of love. From that day on, the villagers spoke of the beautiful horror eye with a mixture of reverence and fear, passing down the tale to future generations as a cautionary reminder of the power of perception. And though the mirror in the ruins remained, the eye was never seen again, its purpose fulfilled, its message clear. For Clara and James, the experience had changed them forever, giving them the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that they had the power to shape their own destinies. And as they grew older, they often looked back on that time with a smile, grateful for the lessons they had learned and the bond they had formed. And so, the tale of the beautiful horror eye became a legend in the village, a story told by the fire on cold winter nights, as children huddled close and listened with wide eyes. But for Clara and James, it was more than just a story. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always light to be found, if only we have the courage to look for it. The mirror, now covered in dust once more, still stands in the ruins, waiting for the next curious souls to discover its secrets. And though the eye is gone, its legacy lives on in the hearts of those who dared to look beyond the surface and find the beauty hidden within the horror.